everyone, it's Ellie from Teens vs Cancer here today, and I want to talk to you guys about how to tell people that you have cancer. Undeniably, this is so difficult because your life has turned upside down, and by telling people, you're going to change their lives as well. And that is really hard because you feel like you don't want to inflict that pain on anyone else. But the most important thing that will help you get through your cancer journey is having people around you and having people that will support you. So it is really important that you do tell people, and it's important that you tell them in the right way. Obviously, the right way is different for everybody. People have different ways that they do want to tell people. So we're going to talk through them today. So I've been talking with my Teens vs Cancer ambassadors, and they've given me a whole load of tips, advice, their experience, just so we can help you kind of figure out how you want to tell people. The most important piece of advice that I want to address right now is do not tell your close friends and your close relatives that you have cancer over text. It's just not a good idea whatsoever. This is from past experience. I essentially was told that it was 99% likely that I had cancer. I had to be transferred to the oncology unit the next day, and of course I was terrified and I was so distressed and overwhelmed. So all that I wanted to do in that moment was tell my close friends and my family. So my mum was on the job of telling my family members, and then what I did, I went on my group chat with all my close friends on it, and I told them that I have cancer. And that was, you know, probably not the best way to do it, doing it over text. But not only that, my twin sister was in that group chat. I didn't even think that, because essentially my twin didn't know at this point. The plan was that my mum was going to go back home and she was going to sit my siblings down and tell them what was happening, all calm, nicely, whatever. And of course I blew it because I put on this group chat, I have cancer, and what a traumatizing and distressing way to find out that your twin sister has cancer. So that's like one of the biggest mistakes of my life, and I just don't want you to make the same mistake. Especially with group chats, you just don't really think about all the people that are in that group chat. And yeah, I was just so complacent, and I think it's definitely best to do it on the phone or on FaceTime maybe, or face to face. That's the best way to do it, because then you can have more emotion, you can talk through it together, whereas text, it just seems so impersonal and unemotional even. So yeah, I definitely recommend don't do it over text unless it's someone that you aren't really close to. But with close relatives and friends who it's going to affect more than anyone, do it face to face or on call. When you're diagnosed with cancer, everyone has a different reaction. People may feel comfortable telling people, or people may feel uncomfortable telling people. I was very comfortable telling people. I actually wanted people to know, but one of the Teens vs Cancer ambassadors, called Hannah, actually didn't want people to know, and this is what she says: I couldn't even begin to tell anyone. I didn't want to. I just wanted to hide away. But my parents told friends and family, and eventually the word spread. I texted my friends the first time, and then later on I chatted with them over the phone about it in more detail. This was when I was in hospital having all my operations done. So that just shows that you don't have to tell people, and you can actually get it taken out of your hands. You can let your parents tell people, or maybe your siblings. You don't have to do it yourself, because understandably it is extremely distressing. So just know that there's no right or wrong to this. Just that tell people when you're comfortable. Don't let people force you into it. Now it's time to hear the advice and experience from the Teens vs Cancer ambassadors. I think it's really important to get them involved in this video because, of course, everyone feels so differently about telling people that they have cancer. Some people are comfortable with it, some people are uncomfortable, so I think it's really important for them to share their experiences in this video. So the first one is from Kira, and her biggest piece of advice is to tell close friends and family first. And I couldn't agree more. It's really important that you let the people close to you know first because they almost deserve it more. They deserve to be by your side and to know before anybody else because, of course, it's going to be even more distressing than, say, someone that you barely even know at school. They're going to be more distressed by it and more affected by it, so they should know first. Following on from that, Libby says, I didn't tell anyone but my close friends, and I just let everyone work it out. And I think that's good. If you don't feel comfortable approaching that conversation about cancer with somebody, then you don't have to. You can just let everybody else work it out. But what I would say is that if you do tell your close friends and you're not wanting to tell anybody else, do ensure that your friends know that you want it to be confidential and make sure that they have your almost secret and that they keep it, because you have the right to tell people, they don't. Lilia, who was only diagnosed with cancer a few months ago, says, about telling people, I just thought, screw it. I'm just going to tell everyone. They shouldn't judge me, and if they do, they aren't worth it. I posted it on my social media and told my friends and family. I think that is a really good attitude to have because it wasn't your fault that you had cancer, so no one should judge you for that, and if they do, then screw them, just as Lilia says. So I wouldn't feel uncomfortable about people's reactions because for the most part people are just so supportive and kind. I experienced no negativity when I was diagnosed, so don't feel afraid that you will get adverse reactions from people. The last two tips are fairly similar. So you have Lily who says, I'd say use social media to your advantage, but make sure people close to you hear it from you directly first. I couldn't agree more. Definitely tell people close first, as they deserve to hear it first. But if you want to tell people around you, so say your school friends, your work friends, then I'd say use social media. This is what I did. I literally put a little post saying that I had cancer, I was starting treatment, I wouldn't be at school. And that was good because it addressed any rumours that was going around school, and it meant that my twin and friends weren't constantly bombarded with questions. Where's Ellie? What's happened to Ellie? So it was a really good way just to tell loads of people really quickly. Leading on from that, Evie says, personally, my mum told my friends' mums, they told my friends and the rest. Mum made a Facebook page to update everyone. I think that is so good. A Facebook page is such a great idea because my mum found that she was constantly repeating herself because people were constantly messaging her, asking how I was, so she would end up just copy and pasting the same message, and it was really mentally tiring for her and it was so draining. But if you have a Facebook page, then you can update everyone from there, and I think that is such a great idea. But of course, if you don't want everyone in your business, then you don't have to make a Facebook page. But if you want to let people know how you're doing, but without having to message them constantly, then a Facebook page would be awesome. That's it for this video. I really hope it helped you. Make sure that if you have any experiences or advice that you want to share, just comment down below because it will help so many other teenagers going through cancer. For more information and advice, go to the TeensVsCancer website. The link is down below. Remember that you are stronger than cancer.